Welcome! In today's video, I will be covering the paranormal faction of zombies in Mark H. Walker's The Long Road. This video is the first in a series of videos where I cover all the different paranormal factions and their special abilities and how to play them in The Long Road. While the zombies might not be the most significant paranormal faction in The Long Road, it is the first that's introduced in the rulebook, so I'm just going to go in order of the rulebook. The next video will be the Lycan clan, and then we'll have the vampires and their covens, and lastly we will do the witch Udvoske. Thanks as always for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have the time. Zombie turn of scenario 6 and scenario 10, I wanted to go through some of the special rules for zombies and for pukers, and I wanted to kind of summarize some of these rules. If you are more interested in more detail and some more of the specific scenarios and examples that might happen with zombies and pukers, please refer to page 26 in the rulebook. Make sure when playing with the zombies that you play with the zombie action cards. You will draw a card for the zombies before they move, and you will play it if it's applicable. Place all the zombies in a cup near the board. You will be drawing zombies from this cup as the scenario progresses. You will be replacing eliminated units, some of them with zombies, like I said, depending on the type of zombies. Vampires do not turn into zombies, and there are some units when you replace them with a zombie where they will be reduced. So like I said, please refer to the rules so that you can see this really specific list of which units are going to be replaced with full strength zombies and which ones will be replaced with reduced strength zombies, and obviously vampires will not turn into zombies. If you run out of zombies, use a corpse counter to mark that eliminated unit, and then as you get new zombies in the rally phase, you will replace that corpse marker with a zombie. When you're controlling the zombies with Udvoske, remember you have to use her reanimate ability to turn eliminated units into zombies. Zombies move last in the movement phase, and zombies will always move towards a human in their line of sight that is closest to them. If there are two different units that the zombies would move towards, the zombies are going to split, and they will split evenly whether you have to add a unit or not. For example, if there were 3 zombies, they would split into 2 stacks of 2, and then they would both move towards those equidistant units. There is an optional rule if you want a tougher game, that when the zombie stack splits in this instance, you would actually double the number of zombies. So for example, if the original stack of zombies was a 6 and it split, instead of splitting into 2 groups of 3, you would split them into 2 groups of 6. So if you like a tougher game, that's a fun optional rule that you can add in. If there are not 2 targets that are equally distant, but more than that, for example, 3, you would still split the stack in 2, like I said before, and then you would randomly determine which 2 of those 3 units that are equidistantly away those zombie stacks would move towards. If there are no eligible units in the zombies line of sight, they will move towards the closest unit with a fire or moved marker on it, and then secondly, this is in priority order, they will move towards a vehicle that has a moved marker on it, and lastly, if none of these situations are present, they will not move at all. If while moving towards a fire or blast marker or a moved vehicle, a eligible human combatant comes into the zombie's line of sight, the zombies will then turn and head towards that zombie, of course. And also, zombies do not exert a zone of control, nor are they affected by zones of control. If you're interested in learning about zones of control in The Long Road, please go to page 17 of the rules. It is 5.3. All terrain costs zombies 1 movement point, except for rivers and moving up hills. Zombies cannot cross over impassable rivers, and stacks of zombies always move together. As the target on the FRT, zombies do get a 1-column shift to the left if they occupy a hex with cover. Zombies assault last if they are in the hex with an enemy unit. Zombies do retreat if they lose close assault. Zombies cannot step reduce in AFV, but pukers can. We'll get to that in just a second. Co-located zombies are going to consolidate during the housekeeping phase. For example, if there are 2 reduced zombies, they would be consolidated into 1 full strength zombie. Okay, so pukers are a much more extreme subcategory of zombie, and they're really fun and disgusting and amazing. Okay, So pukers can launch a stream of acid bile 20 feet out of their mouths, of course, and they can step reduce armored vehicles, which is super fun and crazy to think about. I love pukers. Eliminated pukers also will explosively decompose because, of course, they're full of acid. This is going to happen. When they explode, a randomly chosen combatant in their hex is then attacked with a 10 AF or HEF, depending on what's better attack. All right, now that we've covered those rules, which really do make sense, even though I know I listed a lot, let's go ahead and play through a zombie turn of scenario 6 and then a zombie turn of scenario 10, so you can see two different examples of how zombies can be used and controlled. Okay, so I've done most of the setup for scenario 6, which is called River Crossing. The victory condition in this scenario says, the Soviet player gets 2 victory points for every non-M113 American unit destroyed, and 10 points for controlling H7 and H8 at the end of the game. H7 and H8, this is H7 and H8, so right around that bridge. The American player gains 1 victory point for every Soviet unit eliminated. The Soviets must have 8 victory points more than the American to win. Otherwise, it is an American victory. Combatants killed by zombies do not count for victory points. The scenario calls for 12 zombies to be placed in 3 randomly determined hexes in groups of 4. And the following hexes are M5, M7, K2, K12, O2, and O10. Conveniently 6 to choose from. So what I'm going to do to make this random is I'm going to roll a d6, and number 1 on the d6 will be the first hex listed, and then number 6 will be the 6th hex listed, and etc. So let's see where these zombies are going to go. All right, number 3, that's going to be K2. They're in the woods. Let's see where the next group is going to go. 2. All right, M7. All right, and lastly, we have number 1, so M5. So that is set up for the zombies. They're not actually going to draw a card until their movement turn. This is just for setup. I've set up the Americans and the Soviets. They each have their action cards, and we have the action cards for the zombies right here. One other additional step in setup for the zombies is getting your zombie cup and putting the remaining zombie and puker counter in the cup for later. Okay, so I did kind of a hypothetical turn. We've already determined initiative, which the Soviet player gets initiative on the first turn. We've drawn our action cards. We've done the rally phase since this was the first turn. Nothing really happened. Fire phase, no one could really see each other. So I went ahead and moved on to the movement phase, and I've moved the Americans and the Soviets. Now, at the end of the movement phase is when the zombies go. But before they go, we're going to draw an action card and see what it says. All right, what is that? Place a puker zombie adjacent to the AFB closest to a zombie. Randomly resolve ties. All right, I'm going to find that in the cup and do that. Okay, cool. So I have found the puker in the cup. So this stack of zombies is close to these stacks of AFBs. We have 2 stacks of T80 platoons, and they're equidistant away from the zombies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll a d6. We're going to determine where this puker goes. Okay, so this is going to be evens, and this will be odds. All right, great. So I'm going to place the puker in the field right here. Pretty spooky. Remember, this puker actually can step reduce an AFE. So that is a bit of a threat to those T80 platoons. All right, we now need to move these zombies. So remember, all terrain is going to cost 1 movement point for zombies, with the exception of moving uphill or crossing a river. And impassable rivers are just off limits for zombies. So let's go ahead and start with this stack of zombies here. They are going to move towards humans first, and they don't have any that they can see. And then next, they're going to move to the closest moved vehicle. We're going to go 1, 2. I'm going to move here. Now remember, these zombies aren't going to be able to attack or step reduce this armored vehicle, but they are going to be able to potentially disrupt it. So that's going to be close assault once we finish moving. Next, we've got these guys here. So we have Well, let's start with the Puker. So the Puker is definitely going to move here for close assault. These guys are equidistant, so we're going to split the stack. So we need to draw from our zombie cup. Oh, we got a Puker. All right, so we're going to do 2, 1, 2. Remember, their movement is 3. We're going to move into close assault there. Then this stack of zombies, they can't see him. So the closest one they're going to be able to get to, or where they're going to want to go, is here towards the T80 platoon. All right. Now let's do some close assault. All right, so close assault, we're going to start with the zombies. So when you're doing close assault in other scenarios, it's important to look for this number here and to see what color it is. White is going to mean that it moves into the same hex. If it's not in white, that means that close assault can be done from an adjacent hex instead of in the same hex. This is obviously very thematic for the zombies, considering that zombies aren't going to be firing weapons. They're going to be jumping on you and trying to eat your brains and all of that. So you got to be in the same hex to eat brains, of course. All right, so let's try this out. We've got 3 zombies, which is going to be a close assault factor of 12. I'm going to move this for now. And then theirs is only a 2. All right, so we're going to be rolling 12 to 2. Awesome, and that's going to be 6 to 1 odds. Okay, so let's go ahead and roll some dice for that. All right, let's roll to see how many potential hits we get. 5. So a 5 on the 6 to 1 odds is going to be 0 and 9. Okay, so 0 is going to be 0 potential hits against the zombies coming from the M113, and then, ouch, 9 potential hits on the vehicle. So let's see. Let's go ahead and roll 9 dice. All right. So the Americans have a morale of 4, but in the first round, the scenario calls for their morale to be reduced by 1. The same with the Soviets because they're pretty scared of these zombies. So we're looking for 3 or less. Those are negated. These are not. Okay, great. So that's actually a really great roll for them. You know, they negated 5. Okay, like I said, zombies cannot step reduce. So what's going to happen is they are going to disrupt. We're going to change this to disrupted. And then the zombies are going to retreat back 1 hex. All right, let's resolve some of this close assault combat over here. We have this stack of 3 zombies. Same situation here, no Puker. Oh, there's a Puker, I forgot. So we might actually get some damage done to these T80 platoons. We've got 2 T80 platoons, and their close assault factor is 4 plus 4, which is going to be 8. For the Puker, we have 8 plus 4 plus 4 is going to be 16. We have 2 to 1 odds here. So on the close assault table, we're going to be looking at the 2 to 1 column. All right, let's roll and see what happens. I apologize for all the clutter on the board. This is really the only space I have to film this right now. Ooh, okay, so 3. 3 on the 2 to 1 is going to be a 2 and a 6. So 2 potential hits on the zombies and 6 potential hits on the T80 platoons. Let's go ahead and roll for the T80 platoon. Now, with these, the Soviets, they are now at a reduced morale of 2 because of this first round of the scenario. 2 or less. Okay, that's not good for them. That is going to be 6 hits. All right, so that's going to disrupt, reduce, eliminate, disrupt, reduce, eliminate. Okay, so in just a second, that is going to actually spawn 2 reduced zombies that I just drew. But they also get those, like we said before, potential hits, the 2 potential hits back on the zombies. Let's go ahead and roll the 2 dice for that. The zombies' morale is 2. Okay, they did not dodge those. So he is reduced and reduced. All right. And they're going to move back 1 hex. Okay, I did make a little mistake here. These guys are actually all going to become 1 huge stack of zombies. And then later on in the turn sequence, we are going to merge some of these half reduced, some of these reduced zombies into full strength zombies. We'll worry about that later because I want to go ahead and get to the rest of these close assaults. So pretty sweet that we were able to eliminate 2 T80 platoons with a Puker. So here, let's see what else we can do here. We have got a Puker, 2 zombies, and another set of T80 platoons. All right, so right here we've got 8 for their close assault factor, 4 and 4. For the Puker, we have 8 and 4, which is going to be 12. So on the close assault table, we are going to be rolling with 1-to-1 odds. Not as good as before, but let's see what happens. 7, probably nothing. 7 on the 1-to-1 is going to be 5 and a 3. So 3 potential hits on the T80 platoons, and then I'm going to move this right here, and then 5 potential hits on the Puker and the zombies. So let's go ahead and roll to see what happens to the T80. Remember, right now their morale is a 2 because it's the first round. They're able to negate one of those hits, so they are both disrupted. Okay, now let's roll 5 dice. See what damage. Potential hits. Zombies' morale is 2, so they were able to negate one of the hits. Okay, so that is eliminated and eliminated. Good job for the T80 platoons. Able to get rid of some of these zombies. All right, so I put those eliminated zombies back into the cup. Let's do our last stack here. We've got 3 zombies, and we have a T80 platoon. So like I said before, they cannot step reduce, but they might be able to disrupt it. So we have 12 versus 3. There's going to be 3-to-1 odds right here. Let's go ahead and roll and see what happens. 5. It's going to be 2 and 6. Let's go ahead and roll 6 dice. Potential hits on this T80 platoon. 1 fell off the table. All right, they were able to negate one of those. They have a 1. The rest of them, we had a 7, 7, 3, 5, 5. So they are disrupted. Okay, on the 3-to-1 table, we have 2 that we need to roll for potential hits on the zombies. Same morale for the zombies. All right, they negated 1, great. And one of them is going to be reduced. And they retreat back 1 hex. All right, so I'm going to rewind here real quickly because I forgot to do something really fun. So remember that we had eliminated this Puker and Zombie, these T80s, after they were disrupted. Okay, so when a Puker is eliminated, it is going to explosively decompose. And it's going to attack with a 10, either HEF or an armored APF, depending on what the better attack is. So this attack is completely random. It's not targeting friend or foe. It's going to be targeting both of them. So we're going to randomly determine which one of these units it attacks. Is it going to get a zombie, T80 number 1, or T80 number 2? What I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see who they get. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so they're going to get, so this zombie, we're just going to say, is eliminated. They're going to roll an attack on this T80 with a 10. Right, so now we're going to be on the fire results table. We have got the T80's armor is going to be an 8. And then, like I said, this attack is a 10. So a 10 minus 8 is going to be a 2. Going to be 2 on this column. Let's go ahead and roll and see what the potential hits are. Probably nothing. Yep. Nothing happens. No excitement. So the Puker does explosively decompose. They go to the cup. And these T80s are still disrupted. I hope those examples of movement and close assault combat helps you learn and play this game. What I'm going to do now is I want to go ahead and speed up to the housekeeping phase. And I want to consolidate zombies, just to give you an example. So let's go ahead and look at this stack. We have 3 full-strength zombies. They are good to go. I think this big stack is where we're going to be doing some consolidation. We have half-strength Puker, zombie, half-strength zombie, half-strength Puker. Easy. These 2 half-strengths are going to make a whole, or fully healthy zombies. These 2 Pukers are going to turn into a full-strength. That stack is reduced, or reduced in size by consolidating. Here we've got 2 full strength and 1 half strength, so they're good to go. That's an example of consolidating zombies in the housekeeping phase. So here I've set up for scenario 10, the Rock. This scenario contains a few different paranormal factions, but it does illuminate a point I wanted to make about how the zombies can be created and be controlled in different ways in the long road. In this example, the zombies are being controlled by Udvoske. She is the witch. So when the zombies kill a certain unit, that unit will turn into a zombie. And also, as units are killed, depending on the unit, they will turn into corpses, either full strength or reduced strength. And then as an ability, Udvoske can, during the rally phase, roll a d10 to reanimate those corpses as zombies. So in this setup, I set up Udvoske's forces to be surrounding the city of Grossmetzendorf. I thought it was just kind of thematic to have them surrounding. I'm not sure if that's the most tactical way to do things, but I think it'd be pretty fun. And then in the middle, we have the Americans, and we have Katerina the vampire. And then we also have Mike Hudson, and they go well together, so I just went ahead and stacked them together. Down here on the road, I have Udvoske, a Puker, and a bunch of zombies, because remember, there's no stacking limit for zombies. So I'm going to set up a situation where we're going to have a little bit of close assault combat and then some reanimation, and just we're going to see what that looks like. So since I showed a lot of movement with scenario 6, I just want to go through a couple examples of close assault combat for scenario 10, and then also with these units turning into zombies, hopefully. So what I'm going to have is I'm going to have this stack of zombies. I have 3 zombies and a Puker. Move into close assault with these 2 infantry units. Okay, so since remember the close assault is in white, that means that it moves into the same hex. That makes sense thematically because the zombies aren't going to be firing weapons. They're going to be biting units, and so it makes sense that they would move into the same hex as them. All right, so this stack of zombies is going to be an 8 and 3 4s with the zombies, so that's going to equal 20. And then the 2 infantry units, their close assault factor is 8. It's pretty good. So 2 of those is going to be 16. So 20 to 16 is going to be 1-to-1 odds. So we are going to roll, and on the close assault table, we're going to be on the 1-to-1 column. Let's see what happens. All right, let's roll for potential hits. Ooh, a 3. Okay, so a 3 on the 1-to-1 is going to be a 3 and a 5. So 3 is going to be 3 potential hits on the zombies, so the attacker. And then 5 is going to be 5 potential hits on the infantry unit. So let's go ahead and start with the infantry. So I'm going to roll 5d10. So the American combatants have a morale of 4. So if they get a 4 or less, they have negated these hits. Okay, great. Pretty good. All right, so they got 2 hits. That is going to disrupt both of these infantry. And then, like I said before, they got 3 potential hits on the zombies. The zombies' morale is 2. So 2 or less, and they're negated. Just 1. All right, so since zombies don't get disrupted, these hits are going to be applied evenly. So we have a flip and a flip. All right, and then the zombies are actually going to retreat back 1 hex. They are reeling from all of the fighting that just happened. So what I want to do now is just propose a hypothetical situation. Let's say the zombies just crushed it and were able to kill both of these infantry units. They would, since the zombies attacked, these infantry units would automatically become 2 zombies. You would draw 2 from the cup. Because of, obviously, the zombie bites. It turns them into zombies. Okay, here's another situation I want to put forth for demonstrative purposes. I've moved Udvoske here. In game, obviously, someone might have been able to fire at her, but she is very, very sneaky, so potentially not. Let's say that this patent had been destroyed, maybe by this technical RR. You would put a reduced corpse there. So we're going to move this off the board. Let's say that someone was able to kill this armed mob as well. The corpses would go here. Now, during the rally phase, Udvoske is able to try and reanimate the dead. So here, on her card, it says, roll a die. On 6 or less, replace each corpse located in a hex. 6 hexes or less with a zombie. So let's pretend like it's the rally phase, and we're going to see if we're able to reanimate. So no, we're not able to. That was an 8. But let's say if we'd got something less, then if we were able to get 6 or less, these corpses would turn into full strength, and then these would be half strength. On page 26 of the rules, the last bullet on the left-hand column explains which types of units turn into full-strength zombies and which ones are reduced strength zombies. AFVs are always reduced strength. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, this is going to be the first video in a series of videos chronicling the paranormal factions in Mark H. Walker's The Long Road. Next up, we're going to be covering the Lycan clan when I make that video. Thanks again for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support means the world to us. Thanks.